Q1057, Albany's rock station, and the Q1057 app. I'm Steve King. And one of my favorite people to talk to right around the holidays is Gary Hoey, an amazing guitar player and a great Christmas album to have on hand for your holiday season. He put out Ho Ho Hoey, the complete collection. Man, it's been like 10 years ago, and it is a staple at the King House. And that's why it is so great to have Gary on the phone today. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. The holiday tour. You are getting ready to go back out. Ho Ho Hoey, rocking a holiday tour. Tell me about it for this year, Gary.
Yeah, we're excited, man. You know, you've been friends of mine. We've been friends for so long. And back decades ago when we did this, we never thought 20-something years later we'd be still playing holiday music and become a part of people's tradition and their families. And there's generations coming now to the shows. And, it's funny. We've been playing Albany lately. We've been doing some shows there. And this holiday tour, we didn't get a show landed for the date. Something we wanted didn't work out. But we love coming up there to play. And
you do get fairly close, though.
Some of the music.
You do get fairly close. There are a couple dates where you're, within driving distance. You're playing Daryl's house December 1st. So that's not that bad to get to from here. And Buffalo, depending upon the weather, that's not too bad.
Depending on the
either.
weather, could be a drive. But yeah, there's some doable trips, and we do have a bunch of people actually traveling, a good distance to some of the shows, and it's great because we know what it means to them to come out and see us, and it's a family thing, so we really take it seriously. I'm honored to be a part of people's holidays all these years, and next year is going to be the 25th anniversary. We got some new music we've been recording. That we'll probably put out next year. But I still think back to my mom. She actually lives a few miles away. I'm going to see her this afternoon for coffee. And
cool.
She was like back 20 years ago, Gary, you need to make a nice Christmas album, And she grew up playing, Bing Crosby,
Sure.
Elvis, Johnny Mathis, and all this growing up in New England. It was always cold. And she wanted me to do like that, and I wanted to do
The
You're a Mean
classics.
One, Mr. Grinch. I wanted to do put some Van Halen on it,
Exactly.
And she's like, Gary, what are you doing to Christmas? But then she fell in love with it. Now she loves it, and she still enjoys coming to the shows. We kick off the tour this Friday at a local show. My son's going to play on stage. So
that's
cool.
awesome. How old's your son?
He just turned 18, but he's been playing guitar with me since he was like 5, just playing along. And now over the years, he's getting really good, and he loves playing with me when I can have him. And he says he wants to play music, so we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. You got to be a proud dad on that.
Yes, it's cool. It keeps us connected, in teenage years and stuff. And I love that connection with him with the music, and to see him excel, it makes me proud.
Absolutely, I get it, man. I got a 19-year-old, so I totally get it.
Yes, you see, and he's into sports too. So music's always been a thing back and forth, but I've never forced it on him. I'm just like, do what you feel.
Sure,
but it's in your blood. Have fun, and it's nice to see.
That's awesome. I have to tell you, in the King family for Christmas, the Ho Ho Hoey, the complete collection, is always part of what we're playing around the holidays. Always.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's so cool to hear.
And I have to say, like your mom was, it was kind of like my wife at first was like, wait a minute, this isn't like our traditional Christmas music. What is this? And then she was like, no, I'm kind of digging this. Don't turn it off.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, you know what? Sometimes it takes a little some of the stuff I do, it's a little heavy for some people. But I try to mix up my Christmas albums so that it's like a fun party background music or whatever you want to call it. And to bring it to the stage, it's just a joy for me because those arrangements, man, I really took my time, trying to come up with the great arrangements and making things that would still be, wanting to people hear 20 years later. Like Deck the Halls, I remember, when I got in that movie Deck the Halls with Danny DeVito.
Right.
I felt so honored, and when my music got in the Hallmark gift cards and you could open the card and my music's playing on a card that you open up, like, I didn't take that very lightly. I was like, you know what, this is pretty insane.
That has to be pretty cool, though, when that happens and you're like, yep, that's me. That's me playing guitar.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's those hours that I spent, making sure that I thought the arrangement was right, or that I said, man, what can we do to make this cool? and I would, stay there for hours and hours, and I think that's where it pays off, in the long run.
Sure. What's one of the more difficult ones that you had to figure out how to make in your style for a Christmas tune?
Well, the 12 Days of Christmas is sort of like the first big opus, I guess I call it.
Sure.
That I did because I wanted to have that melody, but I didn't want to give it away right away. I wanted people to get in and hear, I wanted them to hear a heavy riff and say, "What is this? This is cool. Turn it up," and then go into Christmas. And then that song has a lot of parts to it that just go between the sections. Another thing is the way we do the little drummer boy. We kind of do this like, but we do kind of like a, so it's kind of almost like a Zeppelin thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And then my drummer rocks out, and then live when we do it, we even at the very end, we actually go into.
That's awesome. As you were putting these together, there are other rock songs. I mean, I think of, Hendrix doing Little Drummer Boy, or Bob Seger doing Little Drummer Boy for that matter, or other ones. Did you have stuff that influenced you, or were you more like, nope, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to try to stay away from hearing anything else other than how I want to do it?
Well, when I was attempting it, there was not a whole lot. There was Santa Claus Coming to Town, Springsteen, maybe Bon Jovi, and there was, like you said, some obscure sort of Christmas singles that you could see these artists, like, maybe their record company said, hey, let's do a Christmas single. But what I wanted to do was take the vocals out of it and make the guitar do the talking and try to do something that was fresh and unique. And I was definitely drawing from all my influences, that I was inspired by. Like, I would literally sit there and say, okay, how would Eddie Van Halen, how would he play Linus and Lucy by Vince Guaraldi, And then I started going, and I could picture him just going,
that's amazing, man.
Thank you. So that's where my inspiration was. So I always have an inspiration for where it's coming from. So if I did like a Green Sleeves, I'm thinking the Edge from U2 going. I'm picturing him doing a delay thing and then coming in. And that's my treatment of is that inspiration.
That is amazing. I can't believe I was looking at it. 2003, the complete collection came out. Is that right?
It sounds right.
2003.
It sounds right.
That's crazy. And your first album came out for Ho Ho Hoey stuff in 1995.
Yes, 95. In the middle of the 90s, we were just like, hey, let's try this thing. And it really, if you think of it, the 80s. I mean, the 80s were not that far. We were just getting into the 90s.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, let's try this thing. And then TSO put out a record literally after I did, and that blew up. And then all of a sudden, it just became like, okay, this is something we can do. And we just did it for fun. We didn't have a master plan at all.
Sure. That rock Christmas thing just kind of came about, and it was like, oh, man, a lot of people wanted it, and you obviously hit at the right time, and you're one of the most talented guitar players I've ever seen. I've had you in the studio playing in front of me and know how truly amazing you are.
Thank you so much, man. I mean, this has been my whole life, and this is all I do. And I did an interview earlier this morning with another gentleman on the radio, and he goes, Gary, in my 15 years of radio, he said, no one's ever played guitar live over the phone.
No. I can't remember anybody ever doing that.
And I just thought that was funny. I said, you know what, thank you, man. I said, I just, I always rather, add to what I'm saying to my guitar because it tells a different story. And he goes, but still, no one ever picks up a guitar on the phone and starts
That is kind of true, man. That is kind of true. You're absolutely right.
So from now on, when you call me, Steve, I'm just going to go like this.
Be like, oh, it's Gary. I know. Gary's on the phone.
Gary again.
Now, the other thing, I mean, other than playing music and being out and doing stuff and doing the holiday tour, you do a lot of stuff with charities too. And I know you give away guitars and you do things with Wounded Warriors and everything else. What else you got going on, man?
Yeah, we're doing this Friday night. Actually, we kick off the tour. We're doing a thing for our local veterans. We're doing our food drive at the Blue Ocean Music Hall, and we always give a guitar away on Christmas Day. It's kind of a thing we do just to the fans more than anything. But throughout the year, we do a lot of different things with the veterans and different organizations and people that we run into on the road that need help in different ways. And it's part of giving back. I think we just did a food drive in New Hampshire and. I had my good friend Lita Ford,
Oh, yeah.
I said, Lita, you got to call in, and, she autographed the guitar for me, for the food drive, and they made bunch of money to feed people, and she says, I'm calling in at this hour, Gary, no problem. She's out in Arizona.
Right.
She's not calling. We're on the air. They're playing Kiss Me Deadly in the background, and I'm like, come on, Lita, wake up, And it was really funny. And then she finally did call in. It was just perfect rock and roll. She rolls out of bed and she's like, "Hi guys, what's up?" and so you draw from your friends if you have to help different causes. And she's always there. But it was so rock and roll. And I said it was even perfect that she was late. How could she be on time? She's
exactly.
A rock star.
Yeah, right. She was probably out, playing the night before. So you got to stay in bed a little while.
Well, he was, and then the funny thing was, the DJ started playing this song, Let's close my eyes forever, And
Sure.
I think she closed her eyes, and she can't get up right now.
That's funny. She was one of my first all-time crushes, was Lita Ford. Absolutely.
Well, she's a perfect crush, because back in the day when she came out with those videos, she was just a beautiful blonde, and she could rock on the guitar and truly, play her butt off. And it made all of us love her. We all had the posters, and it's crazy.
I know. And there are a lot more women in rock and roll now. As a matter of fact, we just saw Alice Cooper last week with Nita Strauss up there on stage rocking. She's pretty amazing, too.
She's amazing, too. And there's a lot of generation that Lita has influenced. She went on the road with Hailstorm. Mm-hmm. And, the guitarist in Hailstorm said, Lita, you're my idol. Why do you think I play a double neck? And Lita started crying, and then they became best friends.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
like, it's just amazing to see, who she influenced and the walls that Lita had to break down with Joan Jett coming up,
sure.
In the 70s, wearing lingerie and playing rock and roll. So, God bless Lita Ford, and she's my dear friend, and I forget sometimes she's such an icon,
She is.
And when we're sitting there just making music together, because the only way I could work with someone like her is to be totally pure and honest, and that's what I did, and it paid off because we're good friends.
That's awesome. So, all right, after the holiday tour and you go back to, regular Gary Hoey mode, what do you got going on for next year? What do you have planned?
Well, we're going to kick off the new year. We're going to be doing a rock and roll fantasy camp with the guys in REO Speedwagon and Lou Graham and the drummer from Tom Petty. So we're going to camp out with some people, do some music. And then I'm going to hit the Rock Legends cruise with Roger Daltrey and, Buddy Guy and a bunch of people. And then we have a lot of tour dates we're planning in the new year to continue with the Neon Highway Blues album. Mm-hmm. And then we're playing around with an idea of doing a double live record for next year, a double live vinyl, and, a kind of a box set thing live.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. You're fun, because we haven't done a live record in a long time, and to mix up the blues and the rock and maybe even, some Christmas stuff in there. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. And there's always such a different vibe from a live album to a studio album. Having seen you live before, your studio stuff is amazing, but there's a whole different energy when it's live.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And when the songs come out and the album's been out for a couple years, and it's nice for people to hear songs that we've done in the past or newer songs that we can stretch out live and make it a different thing. And I'm with you, man. I always love that vibe.
Yep. Well, I got to tell you, hopefully everybody can go to GaryHoey.com and check out everything. Enter for the guitar. Are you doing guitar lessons on your website still?
That's how I check into all the hotels. I'm Harry Goey. Don't tell people.
That's your
they're
secret name.
Like, Harry Goey. You have a voicemail.
It's like Don Henley used to always go in under the name Mr. Zorro.
Oh my God, that's too obvious, man.
I know. Now it's way too obvious. So on the website, can people enter for the guitar? And are you still doing guitar lessons on there too?
Yes, we do have some lessons. And matter of fact, a guy emailed me the other day. He's like, dude, your picking exercises are really helping. So I guess they're working. Yeah, they can hit my newsletter, and then we will enter them to win the guitar. If they're already on it, they'll be entered automatically. And, yeah, we'll pick someone on Christmas Day, and we'll let them know.
And obviously people can get Ho Ho Hoey, the complete collection there, as well as I'm sure you can download it, Amazon, everywhere else as well.
Yes, it's still out there everywhere, and sometimes people like to just stream it on Spotify or whatever. It's on iTunes, it's everywhere, and if people still want to buy a CD, we have them at the website and on the shows, and they're just fading away. I'm so sad. I love CDs.
I know, me too. I still, I have it all digitally downloaded now, but I still have the CDs, the double set there, and there's something cool about getting the liner notes out and reading about it and how you recorded it at your mom's house and on an 8-track recorder in your bedroom and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, man.
You don't get that on the streaming thing.
No, you don't.
But the CDs sound better, the 16 bits. I hear a difference in the sound when I'm in my car listening. But you know what? Hey, man, we're moving ahead, and I'm with it.
That's right. You probably have better ears than most.
Well, you know what? If you listen to a CD and you listen to an MP3, they have to crush it down to make it that small. So you lose a lot of the sound that was mixed in the studio and stuff. But you know what? If it's a good song, it's a good song. So.
Exactly. But that's why I want to get that collection on vinyl. So it's really, really warm.
It's so nice, and that's my thing is, we're with a label now in Europe, Mascot Records. They do a great job, and they just love doing a vinyl. So everything we put out now, they're like, we're doing vinyl. I'm like, yay!
Awesome. That's made such a huge
I can read
comeback.
the liner notes.
Exactly. Gary, it's a pleasure talking to you, man. Have a great holiday. Have an awesome tour, and hopefully I can sneak away and see one of your dates here for the holidays. That would be awesome.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I thank you for all these years of support. And I'm sure you still have my cell number.
I do.
If you don't, get it from Alan, and call me if you need to come out.
All right, man. I really appreciate it.
All the best, my friend. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, man. See you later. Bye,
Bye,
Gary.
bro. Bye.